On the latest episode of the Joe Rogan podcast, he decided to roast Brendan Schaub. So I'm going to play this to give you my thoughts on it. Uh, this whole subject that he's going to roast him on, too. Oh, I have a lot of experience with it. So I'm going to have a lot to say about this. But let's go ahead and check out and see what Joe Rogan roasted Brendan Schaub about. He had on some military guys, and let's just say Rogan brought him up.
Eventually, my team leader's like, "You are going to put a dip in to do whatever it takes to stay awake during your watch."
Does dip keep you awake?
The nicotine does. It
Yeah.
should.
But dip will?
Yes, absolutely. And so it morphed from there in the Marines, and we lived, I like to say we lived off of three things on deployment: water, coffee, and dip. And even on a patrol with these guys, I would have a dip in, chewing caffeine gum, and drinking water.
Jesus.
Super healthy.
I'm going to send this to Brendan Schaub because that motherfucker he has those little pouches. They're so nasty. He keeps 4 or 5 of them in his mouth at a time. He looks like a squirrel. Like he's got a little, like he's storing nuts.
Well,
So
now
tell
you
me-
got to get grafted.
So you have to have skin grafted?
So they take the tissue from the top of your mouth and then graft it to the bottom of the teeth because it's receded quite a bit.
Hold on. 1 second. Sorry. Are you good now? Okay. So what did it do?
Okay, first and foremost, dipping is quite literally the most disgusting thing ever. And of course, Brendan Schaub does it. I hate dipper. When I was in the Navy, there were so many dippers who would walk around with their little cups and their little empty bottled water cups and start spitting into it, just leaving it around. You'd have to see it. You're like, dude, just go smoke a cigarette. Like, what are you doing? But the thought was because in order to smoke a cigarette, like you would have to go to the smoke deck or something. And dip, you could just have it in all the time. But it was so horribly disgusting. And wow. Of course Brendan Schaub does it. Why does he dip, though? I've never even tried it before. I always just hated it. Every time I saw it, I'd be like, eh. And they always had to keep the bottle with them. Their little pouches. I didn't even know what it was initially because I always thought it was just like chewing tobacco. But then you realize, no, it's little pouch things. And like it gives you abscesses and stuff or something like that. I don't know, but I'm happy Joe Rogan is just as disgusted by it as I am. And and of course, Brendan Schaub does it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.